Finally, we're live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Ingrid Jones, and I'm joined by some wonderful people from the world of boxing. If you're not subscribed to the channel, get subscribing. Okay, without further ado, we have back with us again Emily Pandalakis. Emily, how are you doing?
I'm well. How are you doing, Ingram?
Good to see you in the room. Good to see you in the room. How have things been with the boxing?
Everything's been good. We're getting ready for a couple of events coming up. Here in Phoenix, we have a free community event at the end of the month. And then in November, we're going to Philly for our first event there with Victory Boxing, which is really exciting. We got some really good prospects on that event, so we're really excited about it.
Fantastic. Well, I'll come back to you in a moment. Okay, we also have GB boxer Chantel Cameron in the room. Chantel, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Great. Good to see you back in the room. We haven't seen you for a while, so you've got lots to tell us.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Great. We also have in the room.
Busy.
Good evening, Richie. How are you doing?
Yeah, good evening, mate. Really well. Hope you're well yourself.
I'm good. Can't hear you, mate. You have to turn your volume up just a bit, so everyone can.
Is that better for you? Was that better for you, mate?
Are you there? Can you? Yeah, I can hear you. Richie has just had a great win. He fought over the weekend at Bethnal Green on the Dove Box promotion. Bill had a good win. So we'll be talking to Richie. He's hailing from Essex, and he's got lots to tell us about. Oh, our man from Philly has just arrived.
Yeah.
Manny, how are we doing?
Good. Kind of busy at work, so it took me a while, I know.
Yeah, I know. So, Emily, do you want to quickly give Manny an introduction quickly? Because I know he's got to shoot off.
Yeah, Manny Folly. He is a super bantamweight boxer out of Philadelphia, 7-0, 5 knockouts, and he, in addition to being a pro boxer, he's also a Philadelphia police officer for the last 2 years, and he grew up in a very rough neighborhood, very similar story to a lot of boxers, but he sort of turned it into something positive and does a ton in his community and really takes the idea of sort of bridging the gap between the police and the community to heart. So it's a pleasure to work with him and to introduce him to you guys.
Manny Folly, welcome to Bayloric TV. Proud to have you in the room and really glad to have you, sir. Hailing all the way from Philadelphia, another Philadelphian.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
We've got another Philadelphian in the room. It's the last time we had Brian Jennings. Now we have you in the room, Fred Jenkins. We seem to like Philly fighters.
I appreciate it. Hang on, give me one second. 1 second.
Okay.
Could you cover the one who finished so I can take this in?
Manny's the busiest guy I know.
I'm sorry. I'm kind of at work, but I'm making some free time right now.
That's all right, chap. No worries, no worries. So just tell us a little bit about you.
Well, you know, like she said, my story is pretty similar to a lot of the other professionals that you hear about, where they come from rough areas. And you know, I grew up with 6 older brothers. I'm the youngest, so it was kind of like, you know, they got me. They started my career off. They would wake me up at all times at night and make me fight with the kids in the neighborhood. And you know, that did something to me. And as I got older, my desire for boxing it grew. So I met my coach while I was playing flag football, and it was in between halftime, and he came to give us a verse, Bible verse in between halftime. And he also invited all the teams to come out to the gym and just hang out and talk. So I took him up on his offer, And I told him that, I want to box. I'm interested in boxing. And the gym was free. But he told me in order to box, I would have to attend a 15-minute Bible study. I'm like, I really don't want to. I grew up going to church. I don't really feel like sitting through the Bible study, but free boxing, you can't beat that. Anywhere else, you got to pay for boxing. So I said, I'll take that offer. I'll come. And I started going to the Bible studies, and he started pouring time into me. But he started testing me, and he would tell me to hit the bag, and then he would walk away. And I'm like, where's this guy going? He just told me to hit the bag. Now he walking away. So that right there told me, I showed my coach something. I mean, usually you tell a kid to hit a bag, and you walk away. He's gonna lose his confidence. He might not do it most of the time. So I just really had the desire to do it, and I would finish doing what he told me to do, then go on to the next, and he would walk away, and it was the same thing. So
I guess who's trying to test you out?
Absolutely, and I'm going to be tested, whether it's in the ring or out the ring, whether it's at work or anywhere else. And it's about overcoming and facing and overcoming adversity.
So when are we going to see you next box?
I'm scheduled to fight November 11th.
Okay. Tell us what your style's about. What sort of style? What's your boxing style like?
I'm a thinker in the ring. I'm one of those fighters. I can box. I prefer to box, but I'm nowhere near one-dimensional. So I'll do what I have to do to win a fight. I mean, I'm a thinker in there. So I just like to go in there and do my adjustments.
7 fights, was it? And 5 KOs?
5 KOs, right.
Yeah, so you're a bit of a puncher then.
I can punch. Yeah, I can crack. I mean, I got some sneaky power in both hands.
Fantastic. And who's your favorite fighter?
I would have to say Floyd Mayweather. And I watch all type of fighters, but I love Floyd.
Okay. Well, Manny, we're not going to keep you too much longer. When you've got time, you're not working, we're going to bring you back and we'll get a full interview with you. Okay?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, champ. It's great speaking to you, and all the best. We'll speak to you before you fight.
All right. I agree. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care, champ. That was Manny Folly there from Philadelphia. Great story there, and we're going to get him back on the show and get a full interview with him. We've just been joined by our US correspondent there, Bo Bland. Bo, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We've got quite a few people in the room tonight, Bo. So we'll come back to you in a moment.
Okay, no problem.
Great. Emily, have you got any more news for us?
That's the main thing. We have Boots Ennis is, who we had on the show 2 weeks ago. He won a Briscoe Award at the Philadelphia Briscoe Awards, which is kind of a big deal in Philly. So he won for Amateur of the Year in 2015, and that's his second Briscoe Award. So his older brother, who was also a fighter, he had 2 brothers and a dad that were fighters. He won 2 as well. So now he's got to outdo his brother and win again. So his brother won for Fight of the Year and Fighter of the Year in Philly. So we'll see what Boots can do, and he's going to have his first televised fight on One World Sports on November 11th. So we're real excited about that.
Well, will we be able to get a link for that so people can watch him live?
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing. I think we're streaming it as well. So I think it's both on One World Sports, which is like in 39 million households, and then also it'll be live streamed. So hopefully, and Ed Brown is also making his. I think this actually is his television debut as well. He's 19-0 with 16 knockouts. He's also in the welterweight division or junior welterweight, and he's a real exciting talent that he's fought 15 times in the last year and is just ready to break out now. So that'll be really exciting as well.
Fantastic, Emily. Thank you so much. Is there anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Emily Pandelakis, thank you so much again for being in the room and tell us all stuff that's going on in America, and just keep us updated. We appreciate you.
I sure will. Thank you.
Take care, Emily. All the best.
Bye.
Okay, so now we have in the room with us, we just had Emily Pandelakis there. Now we have Chantel Cameron and Richie Gray. Chantel, you've been so patient. Of course, Philip, I haven't forgotten you. And Bo, I haven't forgotten you. So I'll get you 2 guys to come in and say something about yourselves in a moment. But I'm going to move straight over to Chantelle. Richie, ladies first. We'll bring you in straight afterwards. So Chantelle.
Hello.
Hello. How have you been?
I've been good, thanks, actually. It's been you for ages.
I know it's been a long time. Been a very long time.
Too long.
Right. So for those people who don't know who Chantel Cameron is, give us a rundown as to who you are.
I box for Great Britain. I've been boxing for 8 years. And I'm a full-time athlete, boxing like internationally.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So what's the last time we spoke to you? Was it before, after the qualifiers, was it not?
No, I think it was before the qualifiers. I haven't
Okay,
spoken
so
since after.
talk to us about the journey since then.
So I didn't qualify, obviously,
Okay.
because I didn't go to VO, which was like, it's an unfair decision, but that's what amateur boxing's like. So I had a break, to be honest with you. I had 3 months off, and I've come back 5 weeks ago. And so I'm boxing actually next week in Germany now, after a long break.
Wow. Well, look, I mean, you think about it, that the Olympics have just gone it's been so strange because you've had obviously what happened with Michael Conlan and some of the other fighters that boxed in the Olympics and they had poor decisions against them.
The girl that won the gold medal in my division, I've beat her 8 times.
What, excuse me?
The girl that won the gold medal in 60 kilos, I've beaten her 8 times.
You've beaten her 8 times?
8 times. And every single girl that medaled, I've beaten. So I didn't even watch the fights. I just found out the results.
You must feel absolutely gutted.
I was, but it's amateur boxing. Like, I know that I should have been there and I wasn't. So I took it on the chin.
Well, not quite literally to the chin. You accepted it. Right. I'm going to shut up for a minute because I kind of know your story. We've got Philip in the room. We've got Richie in the room. And we've got Bo in the room. So either one of the 3 gents can fire away and ask Chantel questions.
Go on, if no one's going to go.
Bo?
How many times you boxed for Great Britain then?
Over 100 times now.
That's a bit of a buzz, isn't it?
It's been a big record now.
Yeah. How many fights you had then if you boxed for Great Britain over 100 times?
I've only had 6 fights in Britain. So over 100 have been with Team GB.
Oh, okay. How did that come about then?
I ain't fought in England much.
How come not many women at your weight? And
oh no, because I got on the GB squad within a year. So like I had 3 domestic fights. Then I went into my ABAs and then I started boxing for England straight away.
Chantel, you're selling yourself short. You're not even clear about your kickboxing career. You used to kick people around the ring. This girl's brutal. Kick girls around the ring.
I'm humble. I'm humbling myself.
Brutal. And then she went and then she had a year. And then she had a year boxing. Then she went and started boxing for Great Britain. A year.
It was within a year. My feet didn't touch the floor.
That's quite an accomplishment, really, isn't it?
It's all right.
Jeez. Bo, where are you, man? You're hiding.
No, I'm here. I'm here. You know.
Where are you, Bo, man? I can't see you.
Yeah, because my daughter wanted to come to the gym to do some training today. So, because she's trying out for she's got a fight coming up, so I got her in training right now. But it's cool though.
Do you have any questions for Chantel?
Yeah, I sure do. I'm glad she's on here. When you're training, do you find it hard to train with other guys? Do you spar with other guys, or do you find it hard?
No, I prefer to train with the guys. Like I get more out of sparring with men than I do with a woman. And I think you push your body more as well, because obviously men are stronger than you, men are faster. So if you're like training alongside them, you're just gonna work harder.
Mm-hmm. That's okay. Also, when you're training, is there ever a time when you're training where, like what motivates you to keep training when you're feeling like, oh God, this is as far as I can go, but then you gotta keep going more?
I think about what my opponents are doing. So I think, what if they're doing more push-ups than me, or what if they're running further than me?
That's very good. Now, do you have any brothers?
An older brother, yeah.
Okay, my daughter has brothers. Was there ever a moment where you were sparring with your brothers and you dropped one of them? Because my daughter just recently dropped her older brother, and I just wanted to know that happened. What was that like?
Me and my brother got the gloves on in the garden once and absolutely battered him. And he's never played with me again. Like, he never messed about with me. I keep asking him to have a sparring match with me, but he doesn't want it.
That's the same thing happened to my daughter. She hit him in the solar flex and put him down, and he didn't want to spar with her no more.
Oh dear.
Just one more question. Did you say you fought Clarissa Shields?
No, she's a weight above me. She's 75 kilo. So she's
Okay.
like 3 weights above me.
Were you impressed with Cecilia Brackett's victory just recently?
Sorry, say that again?
Were you impressed with Cecilia Brackett's victory?
I didn't see it.
Oh, okay. It was a second round knockout of Mathis, and I just thought maybe you was watching. Who's your favorite fighter?
It was a good performance.
My favorite boxer was Mike Tyson.
Ah, okay. All right. And what's your favorite weight division right now in boxing?
The heavyweights.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass it over to Abram. I just want to say, man, you guys over in the UK do a wonderful job of the way you go about representing boxing, and I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you.
Philip,
You have a
the
pretty
silent
smile.
man. Where are you?
She has a pretty smile. She has a pretty smile. The only person that has a prettier smile than her is my daughter.
Great. Philip, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Philip. Are you there, Philip?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm getting interference.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Right. Well, do you have any questions to ask Chantel?
The only thing I want to ask was, to the ring, is there anything you think of while you walk in there? Is your stomach rumbling? Are you scared? Like, take me through that process.
When I'm in the changing room, like when I'm warming up, I sit there and I think, oh, why am I doing this? I could do anything else but this. But then as soon as I start walking to the ring, I just think I can't lose. Like in my head, I think all she is another girl with 2 arms, 2 legs, the same as me. And I think I want it more than her. Like whoever I'm facing, I think I'm more hungry than she is.
Have you ever seen an opponent that you were going to fight and you felt a little intimidating, so that walk was a little different?
Yeah, I have. Like if I've known that, if I've seen a box before and I think, oh god, she's strong, and I know she's gonna come at me. Like when I walk in the ring, I'm prepared for a proper war. So I know that every single round is gonna be a war. So in my head, I'm thinking, oh, I need to be switched on for this, and I think in my head as well, like, oh, please don't blow up. Like make sure that I'll go for all the rounds.
Now, I want to know, what made you decide to get punched in your face as your career?
Oh, say that again.
What made you decide to get punched in your face? That's what, you signed up for.
I just love fighting. I was born to fight.
Just violent, that's all. You're just brutal, violent, savage. That's what it is, isn't it? Be honest.
Just aggressive.
That's it. Well,
let off some steam.
That's it. Right. Philip, you got any more questions?
No, that was it.
You good?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. Thanks for that, Philip, for the moment. What I'm going to do is take this to the floor because we've got a lot of people in the room now and they're making their comments and they're making stuff. By the way, people are watching, just to say that I've got it on slow chat because people start talking and it starts going on and on and on and start scrolling down the page and I miss your comments. So I've got you on slow chat. So no offense to anybody. I'm just trying to make sure I get your comments in. Right. Now, those people in the room, let's quickly see who's in the room. Hartley, Star Blaster, Mikey, Speed Jab, Simulations, Boxing Gossip, good evening, sir. Good to see you in the room. Graham. And the guy says, I'm God of Jesus. That's nice to know. Nice to have you in the room. Graham. Right. Have you got any questions for Chantel Cameron? While you're getting to get your questions over to Chantel, I'm going to ask a few more questions to Chantel while she's in the room. So, Chantel, the comeback. What did you have to do psychologically to get yourself back? What happened?
It's literally like, even now I still think like, my mindset, I think I'm just angry because like I know I should have been at the Olympics and I wasn't. Then at the same time I'm not bitter and I know that I'm good enough like to take on anyone in my division. So I'm just kind of looking at I'm going to go back in the ring, have some fun, see how I feel. And to be honest with you, I want to turn professional, but it's just finding the right like promoter and things.
Okay. So you're going to go in the ring and have some fun. I've never heard someone say they're going to go in the ring and have some fun. So you're going to beat somebody up badly. Is that what it means then?
I'm just going to go turn savage mode in there.
So you're going to fight in Germany. You see, I have got a good combination here because Richie is of the same mindset. He wants to have a fight. He just wants to have a tear. Am I correct there, Richie?
Yeah. I don't think people come and watch me have a move of that.
There you go. So you got two people who are very like-minded. So, I mean, Chantel, coming back after obviously the 3 months out, you want to turn pro. So, what by going to Germany? What do you hope to achieve by going to Germany in this fight?
Just to like get some. Obviously, because I was so disappointed, and it was a massive low for me in my boxing career. So I want to finish on a high.
Okay.
Like
so
I don't want to finish. I don't want to finish where I finished. Like I finished like it was a really bad low for me. So I want to go back in the ring, have some fun, and like deal with whoever's there, and then just see how I feel after that.
Okay. Mikey asked the question: who is her biggest inspiration in boxing, and what does she learn from the? Who does she learn from the most in the sport?
I watch a lot of Levinchenko because I think his style is amazing and he's really good, and everything he's achieved it's inspirational. But for women, it would definitely be Ronda Rousey, even though she's MMA. I just love her mindset.
Be interesting to see how she does in that comeback fight against the champion.
I really hope she wins. I'm a Ronda fan.
If she comes out doing what she did against Holly Holm, I don't think she stands much of a chance.
Oh no, but I surely she would do that.
That was terrible. She's got no boxing skills whatsoever. She likes a punch up, but she can't take a punch up.
She can't box. She can't box.
Terrible. And there are people in the boxing world that thought she could beat Floyd Mayweather. I mean, oh dear.
Yeah,
let's not go with it. Let's not start that again. Let's not start the conversation again. Right. Let's see who else is in the room. What are your thoughts on the development of women's boxing, and should boxing learn from the UFC on how they can push women to equals of men?
Yeah, definitely. Like women's boxing's nowhere near as big as women's UFC.
Okay, would you ever become a UFC fighter?
I would love to, but I just can't fight on the ground. But I've never trained in it either. So.
Well, hold on. You've done the kickboxing. You're quite tasty with your hands. I mean,
give it a
go.
go.
There's some grappling on the floor. You'll be fine.
Just throw me in there.
Just get in. No,
I'll shout
don't do the UFC. Please don't do UFC. Just stick with the boxing. Don't do the UFC. Please.
That ground and pounding.
Michael C. I knew this question was coming. Would Chantel like to share the ring with a male, same weight, if possible?
Why not?
I think you're opening yourself up to a can of worms there, Chantel, by saying that. I really do. Michael, she says, why not? Holly Holm has her number. I think Ronda's still the most marketable woman in the fight game. Yeah, that's what who said that? That's what Harley says. So Harley thinks that Ronda Rousey is the most fashionable, marketable woman in UFC.
Oh
What are your
yeah,
thoughts?
100%. And her attitude as well.
When she got beaten and she was crying on the screen, and you know, big baby
Before
afterwards.
before that fight, because that was a tragedy. That was, but a mindset before that. Like I've read a book and everything.
Yeah, some people say she was never going to fight again, and she got a whooping.
I'm surprised
And
she's
then,
fighting
like,
again.
you know, a champion comes back and looks to put things right immediately or as soon as possible. She was on all these shows crying and not wanting to do interviews with her. That's not a champion, is it? That's a bully. That's not a champion.
You're
Come
right
on.
there. You are right.
What kind of that's why people called her a hype job, because she got beaten and she didn't come back and sort the situation out. She didn't address the matter.
She got beaten bad though. That was a bad knockout.
It was a very bad knockout. Richie, what are your thoughts on that?
I haven't seen much of it, to be honest. I don't really follow any of that side of it, to be honest with you.
You're not a UFC man then?
Not really, no. I watch bits and bobs, you know. I like watching them tear each other's heads off and abuse each other in their most of their weigh-ins and stuff. But other than that, it's not for me.
Okay. Chantel, I'm going to just leave you for a second. I'm going to move over to Richie now, because I know some people in the room that have tuned in just to watch him. So I'll be back with you in a minute, Chantel.
Okay.
Richie, how are we doing?
Yeah, mate, not so bad. Good. Feeling good. Resting.
You should be on the camera, but I don't know where you've got to. Are you on the camera? Can we see you on the camera? There you are. Bang. So how you been, Richie?
Yeah, mate, not bad. Yeah, obviously boxed on the weekend, so a bit of a rest week.
So for those people who don't know who Richie Gray is, let's let them know who you are.
I'm Richie Gray. I'm 26-year-old boxer from Essex, just outside London. I've had 2 pro fights. Had my second fight on Saturday.
And what weight do you fight at?
I'm light middleweight. The last couple of fights have been at middle, but really we're looking to be light middle.
Okay, tell us a bit about your amateur career. Did you have an amateur career? Did you box all amateur or?
Yeah, I started boxing when I was probably about 13 years old. I think it was school holidays one time. I think I was bored and went down to the boxing club, got a couple of beatings, and for some stupid reason I kept going back. I was boxing as a junior for a while. Wasn't a very good junior. I was pants, to be honest with you. I had about 7 fights as a junior. I had a bit of break. I've had a few years of break. Went back as a senior. Something clicked. Some people are better juniors than they are seniors, and I was one of them. Won most of my fights as a senior. Lost, I think, mostly in championships. I only really lost a couple of club bouts, but mostly done quite well as a senior. And then when it was about a year or so ago, the clubs, then my coach at the time was sort of deciding whether he was going to come or go. So I was sort of in and out at the time and ended up doing a bit of the unlicensed. I only had one of them though, for an EBA thing, boxed for a title. Won that, knocked him out in the second round. And then from there I went to London just for a bit of training. I wanted to just improve my skills. I went down a couple of pro coaches and see what was going on down there, see if I could improve. And that's when I met Alec Wilkie, my pro coach now. You're wasting your time, mate. I think you're better than that. I think you could turn pro. You've got something worth trying. Do you know what I mean? Have a go. So I thought, all right, well, I went home, had a little think about it, and I did it. And it happened so fast. A few months later, here I am now.
Wow. But a lot about your coach, Alex Wilkie, right?
Alec.
A lot about him, positive stuff. Very good coach, and obviously at some point I'd love to get him on the show and have a word with him, because he's some good fighters. Now,
I'm sure we can get him on here.
That'd be great. For those people who don't know about your fighting style and your mentality, and I said that yourself and Chantel are very similar in mindset, tell the audience or the viewers what you told me when I interviewed you on the weekend.
You almost said like a catchphrase, didn't you? No one pays to see me jab.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Nobody's paying to see me jab.
No one's paying their money to come watch me jab a fight out. I don't think that's what they pay. I don't think I can box. When I was in the amateurs, I was a boxer, a counter puncher, but and my coach at the time changed me to be more of a sitting down on my shots, and it worked really well. And I think my mates enjoyed it more, and my family enjoyed it more, and I enjoyed it more. So I kept going with it. And to be honest, I think it works better. It entertains people more, and you know, entertainment. It's an entertainment sport in the day, and I don't claim to be any Floyd Mayweather, so I don't try and box like that. I think someone to take my head off. So for me, seek and destroy, stick it on them. I think it's entertaining and makes the opponent feel as uncomfortable as possible. I want the ring to feel as small as possible for them as well.
So, say your mindset is very much, I'm here to have a punch up.
I'm box, and I do box. Like, I can jab and move when I have to, but I'll start a fight
Having a punch up. Having a punch up, basically.
You can put it that way. I think that's what
having a punch up. Be honest, just be straight. I just like a punch up.
Pressure,
I like a
pressure,
punch up.
pressure.
I like
Educated pressure.
Yeah, educated pressure. I like a punch up. I like to get a guy up against the ropes, get him up against the ropes, and let him feel my power early. Go on, say that.
Educated pressure.
Educated
Sides
pressure.
up the middle.
You like a punch up. That's what you like. Get stuck in, let them punches fly. That's what it's about. Be honest. Come on.
I don't want a jabbing match. We'll
there you go. So you like a punch up. That's all right. Nigel Ben loves a punch up too.
People want to see it. I think that's what people want to see. You know, if I had the skills to getting hit once, maybe I'd do it. But then maybe people wouldn't want to come and see me as much. But it's one of them things, isn't it? I can do it when I need to, but until I need to, I'll do my best to entertain people.
So it's interesting. So when you land a good punch on a fighter and the crowd is cheering you on, what does that make you feel like?
So if you watch a lot of my videos closely, I'm smiling most of the time. If I land a couple of combinations, ran a body, I go up straight up and down. I like to mix it up, and it just I don't really hear them when I'm in there. To be honest, I'm concentrating on what I'm doing, trying not to get my own head knocked off.
And when you have to take a dig yourself, what does that do to your mentality?
It doesn't make a difference to me, to be honest. Sometimes, like, if you watch my fight on Saturday, for example, hit me with about 9 body shots, all the same shots, and he was a big boy, hit me with it. And the first one I think, oh, that's a good shot, that. And then hit it again. And the round after that, he must have hit me about 3 or 4 of them. And I'm thinking, we need to stop throwing. And I'm starting to feel them now. But for me, as long as I don't show him anything, it doesn't make a difference whatsoever. I think sometimes it can do more damage to them than good. If someone hits you with a big shot and there's no reaction, and they think, well, I don't really know what to do now. I've hit my best shot and there's not much more I can do. For me, sometimes I take a big shot. I can see it's bothered them that they haven't hurt me, and it sort of brings me on even more. I just try not to react to it. If you go flying in at someone, they'll know that they've hurt you, or if you step back, they'll know. You just try and act as if it hasn't even hit you.
Right. I know you said on the weekend you were fighting a light middle, and the guy you thought was more like a super middleweight. How did that match even be allowed to happen?
I think he goes up and down probably, and I'm going to do light middle for title fights. You know, you get a day before weigh-in, then, didn't you? So on the same day weigh-in, I will do middleweight, and I think he's obviously come down. But you could see the size difference between the two of us. He was a big boy, and when I hit him, I could tell he was strong. I catch people with shots like that usually, and there's a reaction. I was catching him and he was throwing shots back. He was on the back foot most of the time when I was controlling the ring, but he weren't there to fall over. He was definitely not there to, take a beating.
Okay, I'm going to bring Bo in. Bo, have you got any questions to ask Richie?
Yeah, I sure do. Right now, I think you said you're 2-0, right?
Right, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. What is your favorite punch combination throw in a fight?
Say that again, sorry?
What is your favorite punch combination to throw?
My favourite punch combination? I'd probably say a left hook to the body, left uppercut to the head, and a right hand over the top. Like a Tyson-style combination.
Right. I heard him saying that, you're more of a guy, a puncher type guy that likes to get in there. Like, when you have somebody hurt, what goes through your mind? Do you have that instinct to just jump on them and just get them out of there, or do you realize that you have to kind of be patient and still continue to work?
It depends on the situation. Like, for example, if I've got a puncher in front, if I've hit someone to a body and they're really curled up, you can visibly see they're hurt. They're not really going to throw anything back. I'll probably look for another body shot. Just keep my hands up tight, because some people will tuck up and throw one over the top. and they'll open their eyes and you're on the floor and they're cheering because they've just won the fight. So if I've hit them a body shot and they really look like they're ready to go, I'll try and look for another one. Especially if they're a big puncher and it was a headshot, I'll take my time again. I'll keep the pressure on them so they still feel the pressure, so they can't recover as quick. But I won't fly in and risk getting myself run into one. Depending on the kind of puncher they are as well makes a difference.
Okay, and would you consider? I know you're a puncher, but would you also consider yourself a smart fighter as well?
I think it's educated pressure. I don't think I go flying in. I mean, all fighters make mistakes. I think nothing's perfect. I don't think there's any perfect style, if you like. It depends if you want what you like, but.
Okay, and what got you? Like, I know what did it for me. What got you to say, man, I really want to do this and be a professional at it as well?
It's hard to say, isn't it? I think I said it in one of my interviews the other day. You'll probably remember it. When you're young, some people want to be footballers. When they're in school, these kids are playing for their school team. They want to be footballers. You know, some people want to be rugby players. Some kids want to be astronauts. I want to be a boxer. It's just one of them things, I think.
That's very good. And you said light middle. I think that's 154, if I'm correct.
Yeah. I work in kilos. I think I need to change. It's mostly pounds and stones, but I've always worked in kilos, so it's 70 kilos in my money and cents.
Okay, who in your division, even though you only have 2 fights, but who in your division do you have your eye on right now that you're looking at? That's the guy that I'm eventually going to have to run into.
I don't really chase any other boxers. They can do what they do. I'll do what I'll do. If they come across my path, that's what I'll do when I've got to do when I get there. I've got my goals, my targets. I'll get where I want to be. And whoever's there at the time will be who I'm chasing at the time. I try not, because I think by the time I get to that level, there'll be someone there anyway. You don't know who you're really going to get. The times change so fast sometimes. Things happen. I said in an interview at the press conference before my last fight, if they called me up to fight Golovkin tomorrow for £4 million, I'd take that. But I don't really chase anyone, you know. It's and things. I'll just see who's there at the time. And
that's pretty good. Also, you know, you kind of remind me, your demeanor kind of remind me of Khan Sheehan. Do you see any similarities between you and him? I mean, even though he's a heavyweight.
No, I haven't seen much of him. I'll have to have a look.
Okay, all right. And just one last question. When is I know you just fought this weekend. What are you doing right now? You just resting before you start training again? Or are you already ready to go back to training to get ready?
My coach said to me to have a week off, so I'll take the week off. I might go swimming in the next couple of days, but I'll be back in the gym Sunday and Monday and looking for my next date, which will hopefully be December, which is what we're looking at. One more before the year ends.
Oh, okay. And, you know, thank you for your time, man. And like I said, you know, I really like talking to you guys because, you know, you guys nobody really like ever paid attention to UK fighters, but now you guys are making noise. And it's just really good to see that because the sport of boxing really needs it. And I appreciate you guys taking time out.
Thank you too.
Chantelle, did you have any questions to ask Richie?
Well, yeah, what gym do you fly off?
We use Lansbury Amateur Boxing Club is the gym we use, but obviously it's an amateur club that we use, but it's Alec Wilkie is our coach.
Oh, whereabouts is that based?
It's in Poplar in London.
Oh, I never heard of it.
Poplar? Oh my gosh, not too far from Stratford.
Oh, I've heard of Stratford.
Well, yeah, I've heard of Stratford too. I used to go to school not too far from there. I'm an East End boy, so.
Yeah.
Oh, very, very close by. Nice to know. Nice to know. So next time in London, I'll have to
pop in and you can get that interview with Alec. I'm sure he'll be happy to
absolutely, definitely.
He's got a documentary.
Sorry about Chantel. Go ahead.
There's a documentary about it on the internet if you have a look.
Okay, will do. Chantel, any more questions?
No, that's it.
Okay, Philip?
Yes, sir.
Did you want to ask Richie a question?
Yes, sir, I do. Richie, now you're a boxer. How much do you see the side of the promotion side of it? Like, do you see any of that? Do you make decisions? Or do you just go along for the ride?
My manager makes a lot of the decisions, really, which is really good. Alec Wilkie, my coach, is my manager, so we'll discuss it. But ultimately he makes decisions, and he'll say, right, I think this is the idea. We should do this, this, and this. And then I'll say yeah or no, and then we'll discuss it. But ultimately, Alec makes the choices, and he's a good man. I think he makes the right choices for the boys. So I believe in what he says, and he's done everything I've needed to hear so far, and everything that seems to be going well.
Okay, I've seen like a lot of situations where a promotion company can, I guess, take a fighter in the wrong direction. If you were ever faced with that, respond like not knowing too much about it now.
What do you mean if I was perhaps put in a situation which I didn't think was right? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
I would say something straight away. I think maybe if I was put in a fight that was way out of my depth at the time, I'd say it's not the right time for me. I think we need more time. If perhaps, things happen last minute, they said, right, I've got 300 people coming to watch me, but you can only fight this fighter. He's had 40 fights and he's won 35 and knocked out 30 of them. I'd say, well, there's 200 people that ain't watching me fight the weekend. I'm not going to put my own health at risk for something. To line someone else's pocket, I wouldn't do it for a promoter. I wouldn't do it for a manager. I'll do what's right for me. But I'm sure I have good support. So if it let people down, I'm sure they'd understand the situation.
Right.
Very smart.
But if I felt I had a fighting chance, a puncher's chance, and it would have been worth the risk, then maybe I'd go ahead with it. But for my own reasons, I wouldn't do it. Wouldn't do it for someone else other than myself if I thought it was right for me.
Very good.
Right. Yeah. And that's a good way to look at it. Now, I know you're green. You only you had 2 fights.
2 fights, yeah.
If you could pick somebody like or is already established that you could take care of right now, who would it be? Go ahead and call them out. That's what we're doing right now.
I'll tell you what I'll do. Because I'll get paid the most for it. I'll go for Golovkin because I'll get the most money out of it. For no other reason than financial reasons. But who do I think I'd beat at world level? I wouldn't put my name to it. Wouldn't even put my name to it.
So you're not willing to call nobody out?
The seven area champions at the light middleweight division or the middleweight division, whoever it may be at the time when I'm ready, I'll be there ready to call them out.
Is there anybody that you don't want to see?
Hopefully I won't have to call them out. Hopefully I won't have to. Hopefully I'll be there. I would have earned it, and it'll be what people want to see, and it'll be made anyway. That's for me. That'll be better than calling people out. I don't really want to be a guy that calls people out and mouths people off. It's better for me if people do it to me, and for me it'd say that I'm doing something right and they want to be part of what I'm doing, rather than me trying to force myself into what they've achieved.
Right. Okay, so is there anybody right now that you think is dominating to a point where you wouldn't want to see him?
No. Say that again, sorry. Could you say that again? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Okay, I said, like, right now, is there anybody who's established and dominant that you wouldn't want to see? Whether it's, a weight class above or a weight class underneath. Like, who do you think is, like, really the business right now?
Who do I think is really good? I think there's a guy I've seen in the gym recently. I've been going to Peacock in London, gone there and done sparring a couple of times. There's a guy in there, Ahmet Patterson. I think he's fighting for the British title soon. He looks like a star. He's a good fighter. He is. He's good. He's a light middleweight and he's special. The boy can move. I sparred him once.
Isn't that Patterson fighting this weekend?
Possibly. Is it for the British title, isn't it?
Yeah, he's fighting this weekend on Box Nation.
Yeah. I did a round with him like months ago and he'd already done a few rounds and I was just going in there, but the guy, moving forward, throwing shots at him and he barely threw a shot back. He's just moving, dancing away. throwing a couple of shots here and there while I'm chasing after him like a raging bull.
Wow.
And he's enjoying himself in there. But he's what, 17, 18 and 0, you know, he's knocking people out. He's not a big light middleweight, but he can punch as well. We've got there's a guy in my gym, Arthur Herman. He's a big puncher, and he was sparring with Arthur, and Arthur is very heavy-handed, and he can stand there and move around with Arthur and take a punch and give a punch like the power. So not only can he move, he can take a punch and he can hit hard. He can hit hard.
Wow.
So he looks very promising from boys I've seen myself in the gym.
Wow.
But light middle, he's my weight as well. So hopefully, if I go for the British title, hopefully he's moved on by then.
That was my last question.
Thank you for that, Philip. I'm just going to run through a couple of questions here. And they're going to bring a fight of Patterson's pulled out. So I understand.
Pulled out.
Yeah. How fast do you? The question's been asked by Mikey. How fast do you want to push on in your pro career? Because you're 26.
How fast do I want to push on in my pro career?
Yeah.
Well, I'm to be honest, I'm in no rush. I don't want to rush myself and put myself in situations I'm not ready for. If I can let's say I get another fight this year, that's 3. Maybe I have 4 fights next year. That'll put me on 7. Hopefully do a challenge, and then maybe by the end of next year, the start of the year after, I can have a look at a Southern Area title. And when you get the Southern Area, you're not far off the English. And then I suppose I'm not in a rush. Listen, I think it depends. Your age depends on your weight limit as well. I think if you're a heavyweight, you can go longer. If you're a lighter weight, as a middleweight, I've got until early 30s, 33. But who knows? Anything can happen by then.
Okay.
I'll take each fight as it comes, to be honest.
Has Richie sparred with any top fighters at light, middleweight, or middleweight?
I've sparred. It depends how top you say top fighter is. Arthur Herman, I spar him. He's fighting for the European title soon. Right. He's had 19 fights, 17 wins, and 15 knockouts, something like that. I spar with him on a regular basis. Fights in 5 weeks' time, so have a look at that if you get a chance. I sparred with him. I've sparred with some Southern Area champions. I've sparred with some English title challengers. Maybe I think some of them were champions. I've done a couple of rounds with Patterson. I've sparred with super middleweights, 10-0. Alan Higgins, he's a good fighter. Knocking on the door of championships now, I think.
Okay. But they were asking if you sparred with the likes of Conor Benn or Hara Davis.
They're too light anyway. I think they're like welterweights and light welters. Johnny Coyle, he's 17-0 from our gym. He spars with boys like that.
Okay. You said you spar Sid Middle. So what about Eubank? Have you had a chance to spar with Eubank yet?
I haven't sparred Eubank yet. No. I haven't even seen him in the gyms, to be honest with you.
Okay. What's your thoughts on the British champion Tyrone Nurse?
Say that again, sorry.
What's your thought on the British champion Tyrone Nurse?
Yeah, he's good. He's got skill and he's a good fighter. Isn't he fighting soon? Isn't he fighting?
Yeah, I think he's fighting in Box Nation.
Yeah, who's he fighting? I'm
not sure actually. But he's fighting on the weekend, and I think that's the same weekend that Gavin fights. What's his name? Sam. What his name is? I can't know the guy's partner. Sam. Okay, Skeggington.
Eggington.
Eggington, yeah, Skeggington.
Yeah, Sam Eggington's good as well. That Johnny Quill from my gym. I believe Johnny boxed him, as it happens.
Okay, and what happened?
Johnny won. Johnny's 17-0.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Johnny's looking for title fights now, so we'll see. Hopefully for him.
Okay,
something will come up.
Do you know of Ben Hall?
Ben Hall, I know Ben Hall. I'll probably be chasing him up at some point. To be honest, I think he's got a similar style to myself. He's got quite a tight defence. You know, he's come forward. He seems to like to dominate the centre of the ring. Seems like a tough guy. You know.
Okay.
Good potential.
A few more here. What's your thoughts on having a fight with Anthony Ogogo outside Subway?
What?
I think the joke
Depends. It depends what sandwich you're fighting over, I suppose.
Very good, very good. I like that one. That's very good.
There's got to be more questions like that. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was very good. There's quite a few of them like that. We've got a very interesting bunch. Oh, listen to this. Nurse is fighting O'Hara Davis on November the 26th. What are your thoughts on that fight?
That'd be a cracking fight, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's a very good fight.
That is a very good fight. O'Hara Davis is doing big things at the minute as well. He's really making waves, isn't he?
What do you think, O'Hara Davis versus Tyrone Nurse? Who wins that?
I like O'Hara Davis as a big puncher. I like them boys, so I'll go O'Hara Davis on that.
Okay.
What about yourself? What do you think about that?
Nurse has got skill. Nurse has got a lot of skill, but I think Nurse would be better off going to America now and refine that's he's got something there that I think the Mayweathers could work with. You can see it there.
Yeah.
I just think that if he doesn't do something to refine them skills, he's going to get caught in that British European trap and not really realize his full potential. And that allows someone like O'Hara Davis to come in. And probably someone like O'Hara Davis at this stage of his career shouldn't be beating a guy like Tyrone Nurse in terms of experience. But Tyrone Nurse gives too many opportunities. He lays on the ropes a lot, leaves his chin in the air. He's technically good. But you see, O'Hara Davis is a big puncher. Can he do the 12 rounds? See, so 12 rounds don't matter if you clip a guy and knock him out in the first 4. Knock him out in the first 4. And is O'Hara Davis a big puncher? Well, he's heavy-handed, but against who? At what level?
Is he heavy-handed for 12 rounds? Yeah.
Yeah, and is he heavy-handed for 12 rounds? And what happens when he starts getting hit back? It's one thing being a big puncher against guys who just want to fall over. When you got someone else, someone else in the other corner punching you in your mouth and making you slip, making you miss, and then you're having to pay for that. It's a different fight.
That sounds like Triple G.
Who's that? Who's that, Philip?
I said that sounds like Triple G.
Yeah, you know, when you got something punching your mouth back, it's a different scenario. It's like knocking guys over. When he's punching you hard back in your mouth, as you know yourself, it's a different proposition. So I know Nurse is not a big puncher, and O'Hara Davis is a big puncher at a certain level. So this could be about levels.
I suppose we're about to find out if he's at that level or not. Then, but
you're just going to find out, and they've just probably chucked him and said, "You know what? You're shooting your mouth off. You think you can fight? Here's your opportunity." And it isn't. Yeah, and Nurse is not a big puncher, so he's there to be taken, Nurse, because I think he's a very good fighter. I just think that his skills need to be refined to take him to that next level and quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see if anybody else in the room's got any more questions. Question for Richie: if you got offered a lot on one of Eddie's, would he take it right now? Could be a quick route to getting his name out there.
Would I fight on one of the prize fighter shows?
Yeah, if you're given a lot of dosh.
I'd do it I'd do it for the fun of it.
Okay.
I'd do it for the fun of it. It will build my profile and it'll be worth it. And I do think a prize fighter show would be nice to my style.
Yeah, you just go there and gung ho, isn't it? Really?
Well,
educated pressure. Educated pressure.
It's educated pressure. Listen, I think if you make the ring feel like it's 2 meters by 2 meters and they've got nowhere to go, they'll make a mistake at some point. And then when you catch them, make it count.
My trainer used to say this all the time. He said to them, back them up, beat them up. Back them up, beat them up. And I know it's quite interesting what you meant by that, but I understood that it's like, it's your game plan. You're going to back them up and beat them up. They're not going to put their will on you. you're going to force your will upon them.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Do you have a nickname?
I don't. The boys have a good laugh calling me the Essex boy at the minute, but secretly I don't mind it anyway. So
Yes,
other than that, I don't have one. Yeah.
Okay. Does that show The Only Way is Essex? Have you met anybody from there?
Brentwood actually, as it goes, but I don't know any of them.
And are they representative of what really Essex is about?
It depends where you are in Essex, I suppose. No, it's a mixed place, isn't it? It's not really like that. There's and different parts of every town is different. You go down that area, it's different to that area over there.
Okay, so it's not representative of what, it's not representative of the TV program then. Okay. Let's see who we've got still in the room. I don't know why this guy keeps asking the question. Would you like a fight at Portman Road? The way he keeps asking that question every week, he asks every fight that question. So, would you like a fight at Portman Road?
Would I like a fight at Portman Road? Why not?
He says, "Why not?" There you go. Let's see what else. So, how many fights do you think it should take you now to get to a potential Southern area shot?
Personally, I'd like to be not far off the 10 fight mark. I'm on 2 now. If I get 3, like I say, if I'm on, I suppose it all depends on how you're progressing. Because it's one thing being a good 4-round fighter. Alec always says to me, "You might be a good 4-round fighter, you might be a good 6-round fighter." I said, but it's not the same being a good 10-round fighter. It's a different kind of fighter. It's not even, you can be a star at 4 and 6 until you get to some kind of fight. So hopefully I can do a 6 on my next one. And move up quite quick. By the end of next year, if I'm on 7 or 8 fights and I've done a couple of 8-rounders, why not?
How did you get to meet Tommy Dove?
How did I meet Tommy? I think Alec introduced me to Tommy because Tommy started his first show. I think he started in April, came down the gym, got contact with Alec, and then I got to know Tommy. Tommy's a nice guy as it goes. He's got time for the fighters. He's met me outside of promoting times and met some of his friends and people he knows just to help build my profile up. He could have been doing it for himself. And I'm not even signed to Tommy, but he still introduced me to some of his friends that could potentially be supporters of mine, which was nice of him to do.
Okay. And just before we close with you, you got a message to the people that support you and your fans and for sponsorships and stuff like that?
Yeah, I thank all my sponsors. Listen, I said the other day how important sponsors are. You met Lee the other day from CLM Floors. He pays me wages, which is a wonderful thing to a fighter who wants to be. So I can't thank people like that enough. Glenn Thompson at Advance FM. He actually started sponsoring me before I even turned professional. When I was doing the unlicensed thing, he said to me, he'll help me out. And he said, but he wanted me to have a goal. He wanted me to be going somewhere with it. And then fight in the unlicensed, as is having him as a sponsor, I turned pro straight away after that. And he's followed me through and promised me he'll stay with me as long as I'm progressing in a good manner for the next 6-7 fights, and he'll continue to sponsor me. Also, so them 2 are the main sponsors. They do the most for me, Advanced and CLM Floors. But I've got my friend Harry Richards. He's got a tattoo shop in Woodford. He does all my tattoos for me, to tickets off me, and which is really helpful. Gary Stanton, Value Cars. He's a local company as well. He's from Basildon, just down the road, actually where I grew up. Tickets as well, which not only are these taking tickets off me, which gets the stress off me, it builds my profile because they're giving tickets to people that I might not know me, which is obviously good for my profile. Adrian, he's my physio, AP physio. He does all the boys in the gym as it goes. Keeps me relatively injury free, as I don't do the stretching and things he tells me to as much as I should. So I like to pick up injuries, and he gives me a hard time over that. He helps me, and a couple of other people that help me out. My old man helps me. He pays me phone bill, does bits and bobs as I need them. And I got a friend. He's not really a sponsor, but he started a company selling actually MMA gear as it goes. He sells MMA gear. It's Deadly Fight Gear, but he sends me bandages, he sends me t-shirts and stuff, just out of the kindness of his heart. He didn't ask for sponsorship, but I'm always putting him on my kit and putting it out there for him because you never know. All these people are the ones that look after me, and you can't really put it out as much as importance for it, because if I didn't have any of these, I wouldn't be able to pay for it to get to the gym, to train at the gym. You know, all the equipment we use. It's not an expensive sport, but it's certainly not a cheap one if you've got to pay for it yourself and try and work and train full time. And Alec Wilkie wants all of these boys training full time so they can be the best they can be.
Wow. Richie Gray, thank you so much for talking to Bayloric TV. I know we had you up late, but thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Final words with Bo and Philip. Do you have anything else to ask Richie before we let Richie go?
No, I'm out of questions.
Okay. Bo?
No, he pretty much covered everything.
Okay. So, Richie, thank you so much for talking to Bayloric TV, and thank you for being on the show. We appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you next fight.
Thank you all for having me, and thank you all for your time and your questions.
Take care, chap. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All the best, champ. Okay. I think we lost Chantelle earlier on. Guys, let's get down very quickly and talk about the week's boxing. Philip, Bo, you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Great. Let's talk about the week's boxing. Klitschko and Anthony Joshua. Looks like the fight's on, then it's off, then it's on. What are your thoughts?
From my understanding, I think some of it has to do with Klitschko wanting the WBA title to be on the line. Me personally, you know, I really believe Klitschko in this situation. He's absolutely right. Those titles should be on the line in his fight because he had the rematch clause. Tyson Fury did vacate him. So all those titles should be on the line in the fight if he's going to fight Anthony Joshua, or if he fights anybody, they should be on the line. He's a former champion who is entitled to get the chance to win his championships back. So, but from what I understand, that's part of the problem why this fight is pulled up.
Okay. Philip?
What I think about the fight is not more so how he just explained it. I think that I'm thinking more of who would win the fight. You know what I mean? Like the last time we seen Vladimir Klitschko, he looked old. He looked a little slow. He looked a little mundane, for lack of a better word. But I don't think that's the real Klitschko that we're going to see in the next fight. Because a lot of people that I've been talking to, you know, on my show and everything, everybody's saying that he's looking old, and Anthony Joshua is going to get in there and he's going to just take care of business. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think we're going to see not the Klitschko from 5 years ago. We're going to see the Klitschko from 3 years ago. So he's still going to be a little old, but he's not going to be that gunshot. He didn't let his hands go against Fury. You know, and I've been telling people that if he would have went on and fought Fury again, if this, you know, this stuff didn't happen with Fury, I think he would have won that fight. That being said, him and Anthony Joshua, I want to give a little edge to Vladimir. You know, just because, you know, with that jab that Emmanuel Stewart taught him, I think that he really could take Anthony Joshua into deeper waters, yeah, and then drown him. You know, but that's my perspective on it.
Interesting. Very interesting.
I actually agree with him because here's the thing. Tyson Fury was able to give Vladimir Klitschko trouble because he was the exact same height, and I think he had maybe a little bit of a reach thing on him. If you watch Klitschko, he throws, like he said, he pauses that jab, and the only time he'll throw his right hand is when it's got to be the perfect punch for him. I think Joshua and them probably think, you know, there ain't that much left in the tank, which, you know, I agree with what's his name, I think the Klitschko we would have seen is the one from 3 years ago. And so, he's still a live dog. So, it would have been interesting, but I also had Vladimir winning that fight too.
I just can't understand how people think that Joshua's going to walk in there and knock Klitschko out. Footwork. I mean, he was missing punches against Dominic Breazeale. And Breazeale gave him just a little bit of movement. Imagine what Vladimir's going to do, bouncing in and out, throwing off the left hook, the jab, the big right hand. Joshua's fought nothing like nobody anywhere remotely as good as that. So you really don't know how good Joshua actually is. So I think footwork's going to be a big key in this fight. What do you guys think?
Well, not just footwork, experience.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, but yeah, footwork and along with experience. And then, listen, here's something that everybody is Vladimir Klitschko he's a very smart fighter in that ring. And, I think he has, even a Vladimir from 3 years ago, to me, still has enough to beat a Anthony Joshua, who's still kind of green. I mean, the guy only had 17 fights. Now, granted, he knocked out 4 undefeated fighters in a row, but those 4 undefeated fighters he fought still were nowhere near the pedigree of Vladimir Klitschko. So yeah, I agree.
Okay. The rest of the heavyweight division, there's David Haye, who's got a big announcement. There's Lucas Brown, who's saying he's not fighting Dillian White. There's Hughie Fury floating around. There's the Luz Ortiz situation, who's fighting Malik Scott. I mean, for me, I don't know how you can call somebody like Luz Ortiz a beast. Yeah, he's fought no puncher in the heavyweight division. Brian Jennings, no puncher. And Tony Thompson, no puncher. Now Malik Scott, no puncher. And Latif, non-puncher. So, I mean, why is everyone saying this guy's a beast? I mean, even when he fought Jennings, he was tiring against Jennings. Why is this guy a beast? I don't get it. I just don't see it. I know he's got some skills. I know he's got some pop in that left hand. But I'm telling you, actually cracking back, I can't really get hyped up about this guy. Philip, you're saying something.
Okay, I'm sorry. You was talking about Louis King Kong Ortiz, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that the big thing about him is the way he comes out and fights. He fights in a way that a smaller fighter would fight. You know what I mean? He doesn't fight like a heavyweight. He basically carries himself almost like light heavyweight or a middleweight. You know what I mean? He puts his punches together. He moves with it, and when you get to the heavyweight division, you look at people like Vladimir Klitschko, who is robotic. Let's be honest. He's a robot, Anthony Joshua, he's the same. Wilder, he's the same. You have certain things that you need to look out for those fighters. You know what I mean? But when it comes to Ortiz, you don't know what you're going to get with him. You might get hit with shots that you wouldn't expect from him. His footwork is a little bit better than I've seen. I guess, what's the Polish guy name? Adamik. Yeah, his footwork was really good for a big man. So I think that's what's really attractive for Ortiz is his movement, his punch selection, and the combos that he put together.
Okay. Ingram, have you forgot what the other part of my heritage is, sir?
What's that?
Have you forgotten what the other part of my family heritage is?
No, I haven't forgotten, sir. I know what you're going to say to me.
You know I'm finna get down on you, man.
But you know what? I'll say it the way Tyson Fury said it. He was only third in terms of the heavyweights in Cuba. He was the third.
Actually, you know what? That's 100% true. He wasn't considered one of the best Cuban fighters at that time.
There you go.
I think the thing with Luis Ortiz is um, he comes from the Cuban school. He has the amateur pedigree. He is very extremely athletic. When you like my man just said, Klitschko's robotic, Tyson Fury, you know, Deontay Wilder is kind of wild, but Luis Ortiz is skillful. When you see him, you're looking at a very skillful heavyweight with some pop that's also a lefty. So he's considered to be dangerous. And then, although he, like you say, he fought these guys that weren't big punchers, but unlike Brian Jennings and these cats, he got him out of there where other fighters didn't really get him out of there, and he got him out of there. And I think that's where the excitement comes from, is he's getting these guys out that other fighters weren't able to, you know, get out of there. So, and then, of course, the one thing about the heavyweight division is if you have a punch, and Luis Ortiz does have that. He has a punch. But I agree with you. He is still kind of untested, you know, but it's because of his punch and because of those things that we see with the eye test, there's a lot of heavyweights that are kind of reluctant to get in there with him. But I mean, and you know, I mean, he's exciting to watch. He talks trash, and you know, he's even though he's old, but because he comes from that Cuban amateur background, he's not an old 30-year-old. He's still kind of a young 30-year-old. So it's intriguing to me.
Okay. Well, I still want to see him in with a puncher.
Agree. I just like Mike Tyson says all the time. It's easy when you're beating up somebody, but it's what do you do when you're the one that's getting beat up on?
Yeah, I mean, and at the moment we don't know what Luis Ortiz does when he gets beat back. Like, I'd love to see Luis Ortiz fight David Haye. Even if David Haye get beat up by Ortiz, I want to see David land the haymaker on Ortiz and see what Ortiz does. You know what I mean? I'd like to see his reaction. To see Vladimir land a big right hand in him. How does he react? How does he respond?
Well, how does he respond to somebody that's keeping him at bay with their jab? Like you said, he was 6'2", 6'3". These other heavyweights are 6'7", 6'6". So, you know, they have the reach advantage over him. How will he respond when his game plan isn't working? Does he have a plan B? Can he adjust? These are still questions that Luis Ortiz need to answer. But I'm highlighted because he's one of my countrymen, man. Don't do me like this.
Well, you know,
I want to add this.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No, go ahead.
But yeah, what I want to add is, one, this guy moves fluently. So if you could put somebody in there with like David Haye, come on, man. David Haye is a one-trick pony. Do you not agree?
I agree, but it's a good one-trick pony against most opponents, bar Vladimir Klitschko.
Okay, right. But
I mean, look, you saw what he did against Valiev. Nobody does that against Valiev. That left hook he landed on Valiev. If he can move that 7-foot giant of a guy, he can move Ortiz. He can shift Ortiz.
yeah, but Ortiz defense is a little bit better, don't you agree?
His defense is a bit better, but I saw against Bright Jennings, he was tiring. He was blowing the Jennings fight.
Okay. I agree. I see your face. I agree.
Well, no, you don't have to agree. You can disagree. I've got no problems. But I saw him blowing again. I mean, I know you guys are Ortiz fans, all right? I understand that. He's got skills.
No. I'm not necessarily an Ortiz fan. I'm a fan of boxing, and I see certain things in Ortiz that I think that he could take in. Go ahead.
Absolutely. He's a very skilled boxer. Don't get me wrong. He's a very skilled boxer. He punches well, puts his combination together well. He's got good boxing fundamentals, okay? I just want to see him fight somebody who's going to hit him back hard and not run as soon as they get hit or fall over as soon as they get hit. You know, have the artillery to fight him back, you know? It's been one-way traffic so far, and the little bit of resistance I saw with Brian Jennings, he was blowing. So I'd like to see him in with a guy that we know can punch, we know that's come to fight, and then if Ortiz beats him, then I can say, he is the package. He can box, he can punch, he can take a shot, he can dig deep. Yeah, we have the total package. At the moment, this guy's what 36 or 37.
But at the same time, it's variables that come with that. You know what I mean? Because if he gets in there with a big puncher, what big puncher is it? You know, is it like, say for instance, a Malik Scott type of person? You familiar with Malik Scott?
Yeah, but what happens? But Malik Scott, we know already, he fell over against Chisora. The Phantom Punch against Deontay Wilder. Then he came back and did well against Tony Thompson and against Thompson had him down as well, didn't he?
Listen, my point is,
so
if he came against a big puncher that was on the same level as Malik Scott, then it doesn't prove anything if he wins. You know, now if he goes against Deontay Wilder and he beats Deontay Wilder, the fans are gonna say Wilder was not, so he must have been a fluke. You know what I mean? It's like it's so many variables.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, so you know, so I mean, I've been watching boxing since '89, man. I've been writing for boxing since 2009 when I created Club to Face. And one thing I know is boxing fans are not on a page where they're going to hold on to who they like. They're inconsistent. You know what I mean? They will love you today and they'll hate you tomorrow. And then they'll love you again.
That's true.
Yeah. You know, so I mean, but
and that's just true. Listen, I've been following boxing ever since I probably came out the womb because I was born into it. Boxing fans are fickle. And the thing about boxing is you can have a performance in one fight that isn't the best performance, and until your next fight, which will be months down the line, people will be talking about that. You know, so boxing, like you said, boxing fans are fickle. Sometimes the thing that builds you up in boxing is the thing that breaks you down. But you know, the only thing, like you said, you'll get some fighters who will be looked at as, oh, you know, he's the next big thing, and then like you said, they take a loss, and we're calling them a fluke. And it's not necessarily they were a fluke; they just happen to run into somebody. This is boxing. You happen to run into somebody that just had your number. that's the nature of the sport. But unfortunately, that's also part of the sport that comes along with it too.
Okay, I'm being asked a question here by Jay Bilo. It says, Malik Scott put in a career high performance against Thompson, showed nice movement throughout. Whose knees are better, Thompson's or Ortiz's?
We're talking about their knees.
Yeah, their knees. I think the knee pads that they wear.
Hey, Thompson's knees been bad like since he fought first time. This dude fights like he's that unorthodox where he makes it work. You know, I don't know whose knees are worse, but I know Thompson has bad knees. That's all I'm gonna say.
Tony Thompson reminds me of heavyweight version of Steve. He's he's an older dude, like you said. He just get fights and he's durable. So, and I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna touch that. That's a good question. That's funny.
Forgive me, I've got this nasty cold. The next talking point is people are talking about David Haye and Tony Bellew. Any thoughts on that fight?
Me personally, I think that'll be a good ticket seller. But I don't know how long it would last. I don't think it'll be that great of a fight if it happened. You know, I see whoever landed that big shot first, I see it going like 2, maybe 3 rounds. I don't know who would win, but I don't think it would be that great of a fight. Like, if we shelled out pay-per-view money for this fight and all that stuff, I think we all would walk away disappointed. That's what I got. That's what I think about it.
I don't know about that because there's some people that hate David Haye and there's some people that hate Tony Bellew, and so when you look at it that way, they're either leaving the pay-per-view very happy or very sad, depending on who wins the fight.
Well, no, I think that it'll do good pay-per-view wise, but I just think the people who pay for it, no matter if you like Bellew or you like Haye, at the end of the fight, you walk away disappointed because it's not going to be that long. You know what I mean? Like if I shell out $60 to watch a boxing match, depending on the undercards and all that, I don't think that fight is going to live up. It's going to be like back in early 90s when Mike Tyson was knocking out everybody and you pay $60 and then it ends in 12 seconds. I think it's going to be that type of fight, but I still would pay for it. I'm going to throw that out there.
Judging by what Tony Bellew did the other night against BJ Flores. Oh, by the way, what do you think of that BJ Flores performance, by the way, being American?
Truthfully, I didn't see the fight.
Oh,
I didn't see the fight. I was actually at work. Yeah, I was at work. I got it saved.
You didn't miss much.
No, you didn't.
Was it that bad?
I hope BJ Flores stays well away from any sort of boxing analysis again, ever.
Matter of fact,
the
best part of the fight is what happened at the end of the fight.
Say that again, Bo.
Best part of that fight is what happened at the end of the fight with Bello going into his antics and him and David Haye.
Well, it was nice to see BJ get caught in his arse. I did enjoy that, to be honest.
The only thing I would disagree about about what he said about the fight is I think if Haye and Bello fighting would be over in the UK, and I think the way they pay for pay-per-views is not the same amount as how we pay $60. I think it's like $22, $25 or something like that, Ingram.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
I don't think
you're breaking up. You're breaking up, Bo. You're breaking up. We can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think if people paying $22 would be kind of upset, but I do think I don't think the fight will happen because David Haye has already said he's not going to go down to cruiserweight. So that means Bello would have to come up to heavyweight.
Bellew said he'd go to heavyweight. For me,
I don't think it's going to happen.
I think it will happen, and I think Bellew will get chinned in a couple of rounds. If he's getting caught by BJ Flores with big right hands in the first round, he's getting caught with big right hands. He'll just take one from David. One big right hand from David will be over. Really, honestly.
I agree.
I just don't see the fight going long. And the thing is, if David catches him, he doesn't get up.
And the thing is,
I mean, you saw what Adonis Stevenson did to him, right?
Haye moves strategically enough to catch him.
Exactly. And Bellew leaves his head like against if BJ Flores is catching you with right hands cleanly and easy, then I just see David just catching with one right hand. Just like when he fought, the fight he reminds me of when he fought John Riz in the first round.
Yeah.
That fight,
right.
Riz came out in the first round and David just pulled the trigger. Boom! Riz was on the canvas. We just don't know what David Haye's got left though as a heavyweight.
Big question mark.
I don't think Bellew's hand speed. He's not got great hand speed, and he's going to move up to heavyweight. For me, he's slow. He's going to be slower moving up to heavyweight. She's going to bulk him even more, and he's be slower. So I just don't see the fight helping Bellew. I mean, it might help him financially, but he might get his. I can see the fight ending inside 2 rounds. Honestly, Haye's got that sort of power.
Yeah, and I mean he can do the Amir Khan and the Kell Brook ordeal where they both jumped up in weight, challenged people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kell Brook jumped up. Yeah, I mean he can do that, but like you said, it'll be for money more than anything. But if he goes up in weight, he's definitely getting killed. If he was to be able to talk hey, down in weight. You know, he has more of a shot, but at the same time, I don't think he moves around enough to be able to handle hey.
He doesn't.
Yeah. So
and even when he's not. See, Belly's not defensively responsible. When he's got you and when he's attacking, he doesn't think about his own defense. That's how he got caught by that Makubu.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he was on the attack, that's when he got knocked down.
Yeah, and the thing is, there are certain attackers who are just attackers. You know, when they come in, they aren't seeing anything else. You know, when Floyd is attacking, Floyd is looking for your movements and everything while he's punching, and then he's going to act accordingly. That's not bad. You know, he's just throwing punches. You know, Mike Alvarado, he's just throwing punches. You know, Kirkland, he's just throwing punches. So, in the midst of a flurry, which is what I call it, that's all it is. You know, it's easy to just throw that punch. You know, especially if you one of them precision fighters, and hey, isn't a precision fighter, but he's precise enough to knock out a guy like that.
Yeah. Jay Billow says, yeah, Hay can be very elusive, but he cannot attack on the back foot. He's very ineffective on the back foot against the bigger guys.
I agree. I agree 100%.
That plus against bigger guys, David Hay doesn't have an inside fighting game either.
I actually think David Hay might be a better fighter now than he was then. Because I think Shane McGuigan is teaching him how to box now. If you see what Shane McGuigan's doing, it looks like he's teaching him how to box. You can't, at 35 years old, he can't be still sharpshooting. That style can't work at 35 years old. Surely he's going to have some adjustments to his style now.
I don't think you can teach a old dog new tricks too much. I think he's still gonna have that same David Hay work, basically. Okay. You know, now he might, you know, throw this a little bit more than he used to, or maybe it's going to be small tweaks where we're not going to see the difference in it.
Yeah.
I don't think. You know, but I don't think he needs to beat anybody that's in the heavyweight division right now, other than Ortiz. Or, you know, I mean, if Wilder keeps him at bay, then maybe, but he'd be stupid to stay on the outside and just take bombs from him. But if he get inside, Wilder is a sitting duck.
Of course he is.
So,
and Wilder makes a lot of mistakes. He leaves his chin in the air, pulls straight back from punches.
Well, hold on, wait a minute. You're being nice. A lot of mistakes? Wilder still fights the same way now than he did in his first 10 fights. There has been no changes defensively for Deontay Wilder. You know, what I hate about Deontay Wilder is all he does on defense side, you know, he does this thing where he just puts his hands up. I call it the Joshua Clottey thing. He just covers his body with his hands. And like you say, he walks straight back. So, but yeah, I'm disappointed in Deontay because it's the, you know what, 36, 37 fights, and I have seen no kind of defensive adjustment.
Thing with Deontay, what you know, we say all this stuff about Deontay, but actually he's the most legitimate champion around at the moment in the heavyweight division. As harsh as that sounds.
Right.
It doesn't sound harsh.
But it is what it is, isn't it? I mean, if somebody said to you, who is the heavyweight champion of the world today? You have to say Deontay Wilder, legitimately.
Yeah.
You can't say, you know that the IBF belt was stripped off of Tyson Fury, so let's not go there with Joshua. The WBA belt is a regular belt. It's not even a proper belt because Tyson Fury is the super champion. So Deontay Wilder is the man at the moment.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
That's the state of the heavyweight division.
Yeah. But
I'm going
I
to
don't
close
know.
the show. Before I close the show off, I want to talk about one more fight. Stavern Povetkin. Any thoughts?
You said what's the fight? I'm sorry.
Stavern Povetkin.
Oh, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
Bo?
You said who? Stavern Povetkin?
Yeah.
You know, I think for me, I want Povetkin because I do want to see Povetkin. I saw Stavern and Wilder. I want to see Wilder and Povetkin. So for me, I kind of, would like to see Povetkin win. But, and also, I got to pick Povetkin because Stavern's been out the ring for a long time. So, but I mean, that's still kind of a pickle fight to me because we don't know what Povetkin mind frame is from all this that he had to go through, where his mind is at for a long time. But the only reason why I lean to Povetkin because the fight that I do want to see is Wilder and Povetkin because I think that's the one that actually needs to be put to rest as far as the criticism and doubt that everybody had about Wilder going into this fight to begin with.
Okay. Philip?
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think it's a flip of the coin. You know, it just depends on who's on that night. You know, who injects their fighting style into that fight earlier. You know, but I don't know. They're both two good fighters. You know, Stavern, in my opinion, might be a little underrated, just a little bit. You know, because he actually moves pretty good in ring. And I know y'all heard me say this about that, you know, earlier, but I think that when you look at heavyweights that move strategically, it's a little bit better than the heavyweights that are over the heavyweight division right now. Like I said, the Klitschko's, the Furies, the Wilder, they don't move, you know. So this is this new breed that's coming up, and they're gonna, you know, take out all of them probably. But yeah, man, I would flip a coin. If I had to lean towards one person, I would say Stavern.
Okay. You've got you've got Povetkin and you've got Povetkin. Okay. Povetkin is the guy that fought Huck, and Povetkin is the guy that fought Wack and knocked out Perez. So, what do you think of Povetkin versus Povetkin?
Truthfully, I only know of Povetkin.
Povetkin, yes. Any thoughts?
Yeah, you're a funny guy.
Yeah, Povetkin is the guy that knocked out. He was just so big, so strong, and knocked out Perez in a round. That's Povetkin. And then there's Povetkin, who fought Huck, and in my opinion, got beat by Huck. Two totally different fighters.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with both fighters. I know the fighter that was supposed to fight Wilder.
That was Povetkin.
Povetkin. Okay, that's the only one I know about.
No, it's the same guy, but one's got P-E-D in his name, and one's got P-O-V in his name.
Yeah, England, instead of calling him, you got Povetkin and then you got Povetkin. P-E-D Vetkin. That's what it is.
It was a loaded question. I get you.
So between the two guys, I mean, obviously Povetkin stands a better chance against Stavern, right?
They both have one.
Yeah, they both have one.
Well, if the Povetkin that fought Huck fights Stavern, he surely gets cleaned out.
That's true.
Because if he's getting rocked by Huck, the Staverns are much meaner puncher than Huck.
I think it depends on the mind frame, man. You know what I mean? Like, we've seen better things earlier on in previous fights from Povetkin. You know, if we see flashes of that, it's a totally different fight. You know, but who knows who's going to step into the ring?
That's true. People are saying here, Adam Scott says, Takam lost to Povetkin. Yep, Povetkin knocked out Takam, and he knocked out Manwal Shah as well. The question is he clean because it takes a while to get out of your system? Well, the WBC, you know, from what I'm understanding, is that he was found with stuff in his system, and kind of like the WBC turned a blind eye to it, which isn't good, is it?
Well, I don't think it was so much that they turned a blind eye. I think what the problem was when you had, I think it was who was it? Was it WADA or one of them organization who extended the time frame from April to October, and by extending the time frame of the stuff being found in your system, by extending that time frame under that circumstance, he was, you know, they claimed he didn't do anything wrong, which they came out publicly and said that. So I think you had a situation where the WBC hands were tied because they didn't. There was not enough for them to say, okay, you're guilty. So you know, it was one of them things where they just, you know, instead of putting themselves in a position for a huge lawsuit, because you know there was, like I said, you had the organization come out and say, well, you know, the time frame had been moved from April to October, so under the now, then it was less than the 0.72 grams or whatever. So
Right.
it was just a really difficult situation WBC was put in. So kind of to save their behinds, they just said, listen, this was going to happen. You don't have a choice. You're going to be enrolled in this, and you will be randomly tested at any given time. Agree to it, or you're out. And and they agreed to it.
Fair enough. That cleared that up. I think the fight I'm hearing the fight will be in Russia, but then I've heard other stories it's going to be in America. So I prefer the fight to be in America, but it's probably in Povetkin's best interest to fight in Russia.
I agree.
Okay, guys, is there anything else you want to say before we wrap this up? Philip, tell people where they can find you.
First off, I want to say thank you for having me on, man.
No
I've been
problem,
I've been watching things. I want to say it started in 2011.
Wow.
Glove to Face. Yeah, you know, and but I've progressed. You know, I have my own radio show now called Standing 8 Live.
Wow.
Which I'll talk to you about that later.
Okay.
But yeah, man, you can find me on Facebook. It's facebook.com/glove to fan page. GLOVE, the number 2, FAN fan page.
Okay.
You know, standing8live.com. You have glove2face.com. And like I said, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate, you know, your listeners and everything, man. Hopefully I can get back on at some point.
Sounds great. Thanks a lot, Philip. And Bo, how do we find you?
Yeah, man, you know, like I said, man, it's great to be on talking this sport. This is why I love boxing. You know, everybody from different walks of life, different places we live, and you know, this is what boxing does. It brings people together. And I really thank you for being on, and I thank being on for Philip. I've actually been to the stand. I think there's a Standing 8 website also. And you know, I got my own. I'm part of the podcast called The Movement. We actually have a podcast today. You can call in, talk questions. I also do Guard Your Grill Boxing. And of course, I have my own YouTube thing, which is Truth and Facts About Boxing, where I do interviews. I think I interviewed former fighter Homer Gibbons, Ivan Robinson, and then I do my little 4-minute skits where I cover the sport of boxing. But you know, I'm just really grateful, just because this is a sport I was born into, and to be talking to all of you guys with, you know, with the amount of knowledge and intelligence and things that's going on, you know, it's really an honor for me to be associated with all of you guys, because you know, this is what the sport needs.
Beautifully said. I think that's about it. Wraps it up. Thank you all for tuning in to Bayloric TV. It's been a long night. We've got through at the end. We had Chantel Cameron, we had Emily Pandalakis, we had Richie Gray. Thank you to those. We had Bo Bland, and we had Philip from Standing 8. Standing 8 count right there? Standing 8?
It's Standing 8 Live.
Standing 8 Live, fantastic. So thank you all. Thank you to you who've tuned in to watch this show once again. We appreciate you. I guess we'll be back on the weekend. I think there's some boxing on the weekend. And yeah. Thank you for watching. Thank you once again to Bo and to Philip. Appreciate you both, guys. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, man.
Take care.